When series end early. Seçkin Özdemir and the cost of low ratings. In television, very few things damage a project more than an unfinished story. A cancelled series does not simply disappear, it leaves a visible gap in the narrative and in the memory of the audience. When viewers invest their time, emotions, and curiosity into a show, they expect one thing above all else: resolution. They expect characters to reach conclusions. They expect conflicts to evolve and eventually settle. And they expect the story to deliver a satisfying ending. When a series ends prematurely, all of those expectations collapse. The audience is left with unanswered questions. Writers lose the chance to complete their narrative arcs. Producers lose financial stability. And actors often face the most visible consequence. Their faces become associated with stories that never finished. Over the years, Seçkin Özdemir experienced this pattern multiple times. Several of the series he participated in ended earlier than originally planned. Some lasted only a short number of episodes. Others were quietly removed from schedules after declining ratings. These early endings were rarely the result of a single mistake. Instead, they were the product of multiple structural forces within the television industry. Ratings pressure, advertising revenue, scheduling strategy, audience behavior. This video explores why several of Seçkin Özdemir's series ended prematurely, how ratings influenced those outcomes, and how repeated cancellations slowly shaped the public perception of his career. This analysis is not about assigning blame. It is about understanding how the television system operates, and how even capable actors can be affected by forces beyond their control. Section 1. The television reality of cancellation. Television operates under a simple but unforgiving rule. Numbers determine survival. Every episode of a television series is measured through ratings. These ratings represent audience size, viewer demographics, and advertising potential. Networks rely heavily on this data. If ratings decline, financial risk increases. And when financial risk increases, cancellation becomes a real possibility. Artistic value rarely overrides this economic reality. A beautifully written series with declining numbers may still face cancellation. A mediocre show with strong ratings may continue for years. This system affects every actor equally. New performers face it, veterans face it, star actors sometimes escape it, but only temporarily. Seçkin Özdemir found himself in several projects where early episodes struggled to build stable viewership. When those numbers failed to grow quickly enough, networks responded cautiously. Promotional support decreased, scheduling adjustments appeared, and eventually, cancellation discussions began. Once momentum is lost, television rarely offers second chances. Section 2. Early episode failure impact. The first phase of a television series is its most fragile moment. Industry professionals often describe the first 5 to 7 episodes as the survival window. During this period, networks evaluate whether a show has long-term potential. If audiences respond strongly, the series gains security. If the response is weak, uncertainty grows rapidly. Advertising partners begin to question investment. Network executives review replacement options. Writers are pressured to accelerate dramatic developments. Several series involving Seçkin Özdemir struggled during this crucial opening period. Initial ratings did not always reach the expectations set by networks. Even when later episodes improved creatively, the early damage remained visible. Television does not reward delayed success easily. Networks operate on strict schedules. A program that fails early may be replaced quickly by another project. Financial stability takes priority over creative patience. This structural reality has ended many promising shows before they had time to mature. Section 3. Incomplete storylines and audience frustration. When a series ends abruptly, audiences experience a specific kind of frustration. They feel that their emotional investment was wasted. For weeks or months, viewers follow characters. They form attachments. They speculate about future developments. And then suddenly, the narrative disappears. The story remains unfinished. Important questions remain unanswered. This experience creates disappointment. When it happens repeatedly, it can also create caution. Viewers become hesitant to invest in similar shows again. They begin waiting to see whether a series survives before committing their attention. Unfortunately, actors often become unintentionally associated with these incomplete narratives. Even though cancellation decisions are made by networks and producers, audiences sometimes remember the faces they saw on screen. For actors like Seçkin Özdemir, repeated involvement in cancelled projects gradually linked his image to stories that ended too soon. Section 4. Low ratings and brand value. In television, longevity builds brand value. Actors who appear in long-running series gain recognition and familiarity. Their characters remain present in viewers' lives for extended periods. This continuity strengthens audience loyalty. It also increases industry confidence in the actor's ability to anchor a successful project. Frequent early cancellations interrupt this process. A series that ends after only a few episodes cannot create the same cultural presence as one that runs for multiple seasons. Even strong performances struggle to leave a lasting impression in such conditions. For Seçkin Özdemir, several short-lived projects reduced the opportunity to build that long-term connection with audiences. Over time, this pattern affected how networks perceived his reliability as a lead actor capable of sustaining rating stability. Section 5. Channel and slot strategy issues. Not all television challenges originate from the script or the performance. Sometimes the most decisive factor is scheduling strategy. Television networks carefully select time slots for new shows. Each evening features intense competition between multiple programs. If a series enters a time slot already dominated by a highly popular show, its chances of survival decrease significantly. Audience habits are difficult to change. Viewers often remain loyal to programs they already follow. Several projects involving Seçkin Özdemir were scheduled in highly competitive broadcast windows. These slots featured strong rival programs with established audiences. Even a well-produced series can struggle under such pressure. Ratings may remain modest simply because viewers are already committed elsewhere. This strategic disadvantage increases cancellation risk from the very beginning. Section 6. Psychological effect on actors. Repeated cancellations affect actors not only professionally but also psychologically. Every cancelled project represents months of work that never reaches its full narrative conclusion. Actors invest emotionally in their characters. They build relationships with production teams. They commit time and energy to promoting the series. When a show ends suddenly, that investment disappears almost overnight. Experiencing this situation repeatedly can influence future career decisions. Actors may become more cautious when selecting roles. They may prioritize safer projects. They may accept smaller roles in more stable productions. They may also lose negotiating power within the industry. For Seçkin Özdemir, several later career choices reflected a careful adjustment to this reality. Experience often encourages caution. Section 7. Long-term career consequences. Over time, repeated cancellations can shape public narratives. Media coverage begins to highlight patterns. Instead of focusing solely on talent, discussions shift toward project outcomes. Journalists and commentators may describe an actor as unlucky or frequently involved in short-lived series. Once this perception develops, reversing it becomes challenging. Industry confidence may decline. Producers may hesitate before assigning major lead roles. Safer casting options begin to appear more attractive. This shift rarely happens suddenly. It develops gradually through repeated outcomes. For Seçkin Özdemir, the pattern of early ending series contributed to this evolving narrative within the entertainment industry. Conclusion. Seçkin Özdemir's incomplete series were not evidence of incompetence. They were reflections of television's harsh economic structure. Low ratings, competitive scheduling, and early audience disengagement often determine outcomes faster than talent can influence them. In such an environment, even skilled performers face unpredictable results. His career demonstrates how unfinished stories can leave long-lasting impressions, not only on audiences but also within the industry itself. In television, the fate of a series is rarely determined by a single factor. It is shaped by a complex interaction of numbers, timing, competition, and audience behavior. And sometimes, those forces end a story long before it reaches its intended conclusion.